Can the winter update save Halo Infinite? That is what I wanted to talk about originally in this video. I wanted to script it all out, but time has caught up to me, being that tomorrow is the day of the release of the winter update. So I wanted to do this more off the cuff. I wanted to go off a couple of pain points, and also the discussion, which is, can the winter update save Halo? Because I think it can, but I also think it's going to be 100% down to 343. Now, I don't have the biggest of faith in that. Hopefully they'll be able to succeed with the launch of everything, but Halo Infinite still has a long way to go. I'm not going to be going over every single little change, you know, the balancing changes, the matchmaking stuff. There's 4 points I want to talk about in this video: state of the game, population, Forge, and then the future of the game after the winter update. First of all, let's talk about the state of the game. Nothing's changed. It actually still plays incredibly well and is incredibly fun. I loved Halo Infinite at launch for the multiplayer. I know there's been a couple of input issues with mouse and keyboard. There's some things with desync and stuff, but I've not really experienced those problems in the last 2 or 3 weeks that I have currently played the game. The things and the pain points that I originally had were the lack of playlists and the lack of different modes that we would be going into within those playlists. There's big team battle, and then there's social big team battle, which is like more, you know, fun loadouts. There's tactical slayer, there's rumble pit, team doubles, and team snipers, I believe, as well. And the only downside is that because Forge isn't in the game right now, we don't have any new fun and interesting maps that we could be using, or even new game modes such as Griffball, for example, or some of those really old race style maps. We haven't got any of those yet, but that doesn't really affect how the state of the game is. I love all of the changes to the playlist and stuff. The only problem is, which will lead me into my next topic, which is population. But for me, the state of the game is the same as it's always been. It's fun. I enjoy the combat. I feel it's one of the better Halo combats that we've had in 343's attempt. I didn't really like Halo 5. I didn't really like Halo 4. Halo 4 was very casualified, and there was just so much going on with Halo 5's gameplay that I couldn't really connect with. It's just a shame that all of this gameplay has been undermined by a poor launch, and then also the state of the game. I've got to talk about it, but the challenges, the microtransactions that you can get from the store to the way that you look, none of the coatings and the armor customization has improved at all. It's just kind of bleh, and I don't really like it all that much in comparison to what we've had in, like, especially Halo Reach. I think Halo Reach did the best armor customization, and that's what I wanted here. But I think that's just what they're going with. The battle pass system, the seasonal content thing. I haven't really played any of the other events, so the state of the game currently is my last, like, 2 or 3 weeks of me playing the game to see if I enjoyed it still. And surprisingly, I still love the overall gameplay. So yeah, let's talk about my next point though, which I think is going to be key for the winter update and beyond, which is population. Population is going to be key for the success of Halo in the future. On Steam, currently it's sitting at 3,764 players on Steam. I don't know what that is on the Microsoft Xbox app, and I also don't know what the concurrent player counts are on consoles. Why is population so important though? It means getting into games faster. It means games being able to play a hell of a lot more, purely because there's more people playing. And it also means that the ranked playlist has a bigger pool of players. So if they do make any rank changes, it means that they're able to have a wider skill gap and hopefully have, you know, less like lopsided games, or have it taking longer for you to find games. Like, imagine an Onyx player playing against like a gold or a platinum player, or whatever that may be. You know, it kind of doesn't, it kind of skews it a little bit. But if they have more people, then they have more people across the board in all of the different ranks. And I think that is what Halo really needs right now, what Infinite needs, is it needs more of a ranked scene. Even though the esports scene is, popping, especially for Optic and stuff, it's still very niche in the grand scheme of things compared to Call of Duty and other stuff. But I would like to see more population in the competitive playlist, in the regular playlist, and, hopefully have some bigger, more chaotic modes and more community input like they have in previous games, which could potentially push this game to, getting back to where it needs to be, because it's a massive franchise, and I just think that the population of the game needs to improve. You may be sitting here thinking, well, how does this answer the question? How can the winter update save all of this? And I'm going to simply say Forge. There's a caveat to Forge, which I'll talk about in a moment, but if you have seen all of the creations that have been made so far by people that have been beta testing before it even goes into beta in the full game, there is literal new games being created in Forge by talented, creative people. There's someone that made a arcade machine that played a Halo side-scroller that was very basic in Halo, the engine itself. Someone made Woody's room from Toy Story. There's loads of clips of that going around. There's also like a cyberpunk type level. There's people that have taken normal maps and changed how some of the geometry is, like added different foliage, like trees, and like made it more jungly, especially with the Bazaar map, which is pretty cool. And the two new maps that we're getting are being created entirely in Forge. Now, if you can do that with just a fraction of the time that the beta testers have been given, any really dedicated people can make puzzle maps, which are fantastic. There'll be definitely people that are making race maps. There'll be all of the community members that are going to be creating things like Duck Hunt, Ice Cream Van or Ice Cream Truck. I can't remember the different variations of it. Fat Boy, which we had, or like £1,000 Man, whatever it is. You can do so much stuff with Forge, and it is mind-blowing that the developers are just giving this engine out for people to mess around with. The caveat to that is the custom games browser. Now, that is going to be coming to us in March. That's disappointing, purely because if there's going to be no way to file share these cool, awesome game modes and custom games that you can play, and the Forge maps, then Forge, as cool as it will be, it isn't going to have that same impact until 3 or 4 months down the line when we get the update in March, which is around, 4 or 5 months after, 4 months if I'm actually thinking about it, which doesn't really help the game. And it kind of is like you're introducing this amazing thing that, it could take time for people to make these games, but then also the custom games browser isn't there. But this is another case of you have to wait and see. Forge could come out and it could be fantastic for a lot of people. There could be a really good way to be able to interact with it, make some cool maps, should people show off their creations, gets a bit of buzz going, and then they eventually have the custom games browser in March. And I'm very much like, I'll try it out and then I will wait, because I like to wait until there's a bunch of creations that have been made by the community, come back to the game and look at it from there. I don't think it's going to be amazingly hot at launch, but I do think that Forge is one of the craziest things I have seen. It's probably going to be one of the better Forges if done right by 343, and that's a massive if. Lastly, I want to talk about the winter update as a whole. We're getting a free battle pass. We're getting it's 30 levels, I think it is. We're getting ourselves the match XP, and they've done some things to the challenges as well. They want to make match XP the primary thing that you earn to level up the battle pass, I believe, or the challenges will level up the battle pass, or whatever it is. I read the article on it pretty briefly. There's also network play for the campaign. / co-op play. Hopefully it will be local as well, even though there was a way to be able to do it on one console. Kind of annoying. I'd still love to be able to play through that. And obviously we're getting a couple of new maps, we're getting some new modes as well. And then obviously we've got just the 3-4 months or so that we have left of that winter update. Now, do I think this will save the game? The optimistic part of me says yes, I think it will, because I think Forge adds a lot for the community, and if there's enough traction and enough popularity with it, then it means that 343 doesn't have to necessarily make maps. The competitive scene can easily make some of their own maps for tournaments and stuff that they can be used, and that could potentially come into play. I don't know if that's viably possible. I may be wrong on that front, but the most popular modes in there, I remember they used to grab those in Halo Reach and put them into the main playlist, especially some of the maps, which is something to be excited about. If the population goes up and they make some changes to the rank system a little bit more, which they are trying to do, I do think they need an overhaul of the whole rank system. But still, if that goes up, and then as long as the game is still fun and they actually try and make content for it, or they let the community make content for it, then Halo Infinite will be in its just Halo state. Halo has always been, for me, a community-driven content game. There's never really been anything like kind of crazy, but in the world of live service, you have to put out content. And so far, 343 have kind of stumbled over that, and they've not really done that with, especially the multiplayer side. Cosmetics, I feel like, are very easy to do, but maps, changes still need to happen in order for me to recommend this game to a lot of people. I just kind of am saying, wait until Forge Creations are out and see how that does. See what Forge does. So that's the side of me that says, yes, I think it's going to be very helpful for the game. I think it can save Halo Infinite from the state that it was currently in and where it is right now. Do I think it's going to, in the long term, like catapult it to this mainstream success? I don't think so, because I think that ship sailed at launch, like a couple of months after launch, that is. Which is a little bit disappointing as a Halo fan, but yeah, I just wanted to get my thoughts out about the winter update and trying it out. It'll be out tomorrow, so I'm going to try it out and see what is what. But if you've enjoyed this video and you want to talk about Halo or all manner of other games, come and check out the other content on the channel by liking, subscribing to the channel, and turning on that notification bell to be notified when I bring out new content. And as always, check the links in the description. This has been It's Jimbo, and I'll see you guys next time.